So I've reviewed Bay Ritz for you, and now it's time for Deauville, Paris Deauville from Chanel. So it's still part of the same collection as Bay Ritz, the Les Eaux de Parfum. I think that's what it's called anyway, but it's actually an eau de toilette, and allegedly it's not even that, it's an eau de cologne. Put that aside for now. Let's just go in hard with some Deauville. Just relaxing this evening. Mr. Smelly's cooking some dinner. You might be able to hear him rattling around in the kitchen in the background. We've had a nice walk. I've been at work today, and so it's chill time now, and I'm just gonna wear lots of Deauville. First impressions. So this one smells to me more green and more lemony. So Bay Ritz definitely smell a lot more orangey. Deauville smells like lemon and bergamot lemonade, like old-fashioned, slightly bitter, fizzy lemonade, but very natural smelling, like it's been made by someone who grows the limes and lemons and bergamots in their garden. Oh, I didn't say lime, but I definitely feel like I can smell lime as well. It smells green citrusy, if that makes any sense. And super fresh, fresher probably even than Bay Ritz was. Very refreshing, perfect, because today's been a bit sweaty today. Work air conditioning is still not working. I don't think it ever will. So went over 30 degrees in the office today. I went out for a brisk walk on my lunch break in the hot sweltering sun and came back into the sweaty unair conditioned office. So I've just had the most amazing refreshing shower, and now the only thing I want to do is spray on something super fresh to make me continue to feel really clean and fresh. So that is my first impressions of Paris Deauville, and of course I'll bring you more very shortly. Morning, just a quick update on Deauville. So I wore it last night, and I did reapply it before I went to bed. I went to bed about 10:30, and 8 hours later I woke up. Well, I woke up a few times, but that's my problem. So I've got up about 8 hours later, and I couldn't believe it that I can still smell it on my skin. So I haven't had my shower yet, and there's just a faint, sweet, kind of limey, citrusy, almost powdery scent on my skin. I'm really impressed with that. I was expecting Deauville to disappear fairly quickly without a trace. So for the fact that it's still on my skin 8 hours later, albeit of course it's a skin scent, I'm really impressed with that. So I'm going to wear it again today and try and give you some more thoughts. So scent of the day then, of course, it's Deauville again. I've just sprayed loads, so I'm not going to spray any more on, but I reckon I've got about 20-25 sprays on, all around here, on my clothes and on my arms. So I'm going to go to work, and I'll come back to you with any further updates. Hiya. So I've been wearing Deauville since around about 7:30 this morning, and it's now nearly 2 p.m. I have not felt the need to top it up, and I've not topped it up because I can still smell it. So it's a win for Deauville in terms of performance. We've now smashed past the performance of Bay Ritz, and it is still gently wafting. So as I was walking towards this park, the breeze was in the opposite direction, and it was catching the smell from this area here. It was catching the smell and lifting it up to my nose. I was able to gently smell it all day or all morning at work, just while sitting going about my business in my boring seat in front of my boring computer. I was able to get cheerful little wafts of Deauville. So I'm going to read you the notes. Basil, orange, bergamot, lemon and lime, petitgrain, jasmine, rose, hedione, green notes and patchouli. So what do I actually get out of those notes? I definitely get all the citruses, but most notably I would say the lemon, lime and the bergamot. It doesn't smell mega orangey. I'm not really picking out orange, but it just smells like an amalgamation of more greener citruses. In terms of basil, I don't think I've picked it out myself yet. And green notes, I mean, green notes? What are green notes anyway? It could be anything. I don't smell leaves. I don't smell, maybe I smell kind of like a fresh sweet grass, like a really super fresh cut healthy green grass. I can kind of get that. So that is probably what the green notes translate to me. But I don't get the patchouli. I don't necessarily pick out petitgrain, jasmine and hedione. So hedione's an aroma chemical. It's used quite heavily in a lot of perfumes to give a jasmine-like smell, but it's not a really heavy and heady jasmine. It's quite a subtle note. I've got some at home and it is really, really beautiful actually, but it's very subtle. So I can kind of understand that it's in there giving it a slightly sweet floral note. Jasmine, I would say, is underplayed. It's not mega heavy. And I would also say it does get a kind of a little bit powdery, not a lot. Oh, my notes are flying off. Not a lot, but it gets a little bit powdery. I'm just going to go to this hand because I did respray a little bit to remind myself more of the opening. There it is. Yeah, and the opening is definitely much more of a sharper, fresher green citrusy-ness, whereas when you get to the dry down, there is a touch of earthiness which potentially could be the patchouli, but it's only very, very subtle. The whole thing is really, really subtle. It's translucent and it just gives you a slightly sweet, green, fresh, clean aura really. But I would say that I'm impressed with the performance. I really enjoy the way the fragrance smells. I don't pick out the rose either, that's another note. I don't really notice that at all. May need a few more wearings and maybe I can pick out a little bit more, but really overall it's fresh, fizzy, green, citrusy type thing that dries down a touch powdery slash earthy in a sweet way. And that is kind of about it. I'm going to see how long this one goes on for today, so I'm not going to respray. Let's see, I'll find out what point it dies on me and I'll make a note of that. But if it's anything like Bay Ritz, it could potentially have a completely different result on another day. Today is warm yet cloudy. I'm at work in my alleged air-conditioned office. It's 29 degrees in there at the moment. And I'm wearing a strappy, loose dress just so that I'm comfortable. So that's the conditions today. Not sure if I need to test it again. We'll see how I feel about that. So one more time testing out Deauville for you. I'm just going to do it on one arm and on the other arm I'm going to do Bay Ritz. So I've got them both here. So Deauville I'm going to coat my left arm with, and then Bay Ritz on the other, just so I can confirm my feelings about the performance of both fragrances and just give you my very final thoughts on Deauville. So I'm doing that now and I will give you those thoughts in just 2 ticks. So it's now 5:30 in the evening. I sprayed the fragrances, one on each arm. So Paris Deauville was on my left arm and Paris Bay Ritz was on my right, and they were sprayed this morning around 7:30 in the morning. And I am really happy to tell you that both fragrances are still noticeable on my skin. Now I'm not saying they're jumping out and they're certainly not projecting, but I can smell both. So I smell Bay Ritz, I can smell that sweet, slightly vanillic, powdery dry down, and when I smell Deauville, which is on the other arm, I can smell the green citrusiness still, and again a little bit of a powdery sweet dry down. Deauville is jumping off my skin a little more, I would say about an inch it's jumping off my skin. Bay Ritz is most definitely a skin scent. When it comes to how much I like them, I definitely like Bay Ritz the most. That's the one I can see me reaching for because I really enjoy that sweet vanillic kind of white floral thing that I get from it. Paris Deauville smells more like a citrusy natural cologne, but just in a greener citrusy way. So very, very nice, both of them. Deauville perhaps smells more natural. Bayrit smells more like not just about natural elements. There is that very light sea breeze and that sweetness that seems to come from something slightly vanillic. But I'm really, really pleased to have them both. I can see me reaching for them often, and I'm quite impressed with the performance actually. Although, as I've said before in my previous review, the performance really does seem to vary from day to day. So don't just take it from me. If you're looking to buy them, you must test them out several times on your skin, for different occasions and in different climates, because I feel like that really does make a difference. Overall then, so this is obviously the review for Deauville today. So I don't really have much more to say about the scent of Deauville than I've already said. I thought that I would just compare the two and give you my final thoughts and let you know which one I prefer, and that is Bayrit's, but they are both really, really pleasant fragrances, and I can't see how anyone would not like them unless you hate citruses and you hate colognes, in which case steer well clear. That's me done. Thank you for watching and listening, and I'll catch you in the next video.